This is day number 169 of Arukh HaShulchan OC. If you'd like to sponsor an upcoming share more of the Arukh HaShulchan OC, it would be very greatly appreciated. Please contact me directly. Today we're doing Siman Kuf Chav Zayin Sif Aleph through Siman Kuf Chav Ches Sif Dalet. Kuf Chav Zayin Din Modim D'Rabbanan. Shegia Shnatz the Modim. When the Tzibur reaches Modim, Sholchim Od Tzibur, the Tzibur bows with him. Gosim B'Yushalayim Peragam Brachos Akol Sholchim in Peshatz Bodah. Shami says everyone bows down with the Shliach Tzibur, Hodah, right there by Modim. Because Rambam Periktes Din Dal with the Zel Shalom, the Rambam writes, Shegia Shliach Tzibur, the Modim Korea, Shliach Tzibur reaches Modim and bows, Kolam Sholchim Mato, everybody bows a bit. I guess it's a little bit more than a nod. They shouldn't bow so much, too much. I show them. Why? The sphere later Kriyas Gemuros Heimrak Arba, because a full bowing is only 4 times. Above us Tchila B'Sof, the of us beginning and the Bracha Modim Tchila B'Sof, and Modim at the beginning and end. That's like people Shalichro B'Makom Shalom Chachamim. Chachamim, Chazal said you don't bow down in places where we didn't say to bow down. Which goes down to Siman Kuf Chav Gimel. V'Shashon Soita. In the Gemara and Soita, the Shem was Kar Hach the Modim Zeh. Modi Rabbanan, where Modi Rabbanan is mentioned, Lonius Kasham Tzim L'Krot doesn't say you have to bow. Like Yerushalmi, only Yerushalmi says that. At the time the game of Shliach Tzibur, remember Kol Modi Manachnu Lach. Since Shliach Tzibur says out loud, Modi Manachnu Lach, Memelo Shliach Tzibur Gam Kin LaRos Achno. So Tzibur has to show a sign of submission. Because the Rambam Shlos Ma'at, that's what Rambam says to bow a little. Shalom Shom Omer Gam Kin about Shliach Tzibur Medai, and Yerushalmi itself says not too much. For Rambam the Rak Amodim Kai. The Rambam says that it's going specifically on Modim. Base. The Tur has complained against the Rambam. So what he's complaining about is not clear. They says it left out the component of the statement that you bow down only a little. He only wrote that you don't bow down too much. So why? You only write half the statement of the Rambam. So Arukh HaShulchan says nearly does the time as Sifra Gadol is going according to his line of reasoning in the Beis Yosef, where he writes that the he writes that you should bow down normal like any other bowing. And all bowings you shouldn't bow too much. So it's not just going on Modim, the Rabbanim, but any bowing. But Motamua, but that's strange. Okay, Lama Kasar Kasvu Khan, why do you write it then here? Below Parakeh Dinu base, or it's why the why the Rambam write it only here? I'm not sure. I would say that the question would be why the Shulchan Aruch wrote it only here. But in any event, because the Rambam wrote both. Okay, I don't know exactly what he's asking. When he says Motamodin Kain Lama Kasokam below Parakeh Dinu base, the Shambir Dinu Akrios. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I guess he's going. That's the way that Beis Yosef wanted to interpret the Rambam, although I don't see it. But then that the Arukh HaShulchan says that's astonishing because that's the case. Why did he write it here and not Parakeh Dinu base? Shambir Dinu Akrios, where he explained the other bowings. Besides, how can you even say this? By other bowings, he said bowing a little is only b'di'evet good enough. And here the Rambam writes that chatchila you can bow a little bit. Brackets it says here, "V'gam habach kasa derak amodim zekai." And only then this money bowed down a little bit. And doesn't really resolve it here. But he does say that the Mishnah Berurah brings down the Mishnah Berurah says that you should bow down. His psak should bow down like all other bowings, which I don't believe the minhag is. I think the minhag is to specifically do a little bit by Modim Rabbanan. But he doesn't make Gimel. Modim said Nikra Modim Rabbanan. Why is it called Modim Rabbanan? Nimshum Nischaso who Mikam Amaroyin Kam Vor Sham Sadir Sham. It's been comprised of the statements of several Amoraim. It's not from the Anshe Knesset Gedolah as actual Moedim is. Shami is common uschos acheros. Shami has different variations. Gamasayim b'shem Baruch Atah Hashem kelodos Hashem. Also finishes with a full chasima. But we say like our shas below shem masov, and we don't say with a shame at the end. It's well known how the Sidurim phrase it. Those who say you have to bow down at also the end of Modin Rabbana. And the said it's best to take this into account. Rama says some people say you have to bow down for the entire Modin Rabbanan. The Rama says that is the minhag. But slain Allah kol nogin came. By us, that is certainly not the minhag. Rav Shirgon calls of Yesh Mishachayzim Karim Shem Simon. Yesh Simon is Kippur. Rav Shirgon writes that some people bow down again at the end, and some people finish standing straight up. For Rav Vasa lo Michu lo lezeh v'lo lezeh. And Rav Shirgon says no, the Rabbanim did not protest either way. Yerushalmi Yesh Rabbi Zira have a samach l'krayva. This is so the question is, what does it mean? He was adjacent to the kroiva in order to bow down beginning at the end. Explains our Roshugam near Dagi Berush what it means. Shaya Omer Modim Ze Barichus Tsas. We say this Modim certain longer, so it would dovetail with the Modim of the Shliach Tzibur. There's Shavim Ashatz. In order to finish, it was the same with the shots. So Yishched Gam B'Sov Im HaShatz. Bow down with the Shliach Tzibur, and the Shir B'Zir says Tov Shim Chol Chol Ne'elodos. V'chein Yecholim L'nog B'Zeh Im Ko V'Im Ko. You can take on whichever minute you want. I've never seen anybody bow down at the end of the Modin Rabbanan. I haven't necessarily looked, and certainly never seen anybody bowing down the entire time. And that I probably would have noticed. So the Yerushalmi, which says Zir have a summer l'krov K'dei She'echa Im Atchil B'Sof, what it means is that he would be close to the Shliach Tzibur, who was korov to the Amud, something to that effect, so they'd be able to, or he would coordinate his the Shliach Tzibur in order to bow down simultaneously with the Shliach Tzibur at the beginning and end of the bracha. The Mishnah Berurah writes, the Bach writes in the name of Rashal, that you should lift up. When you say Hashem Elokeinu, so before you say the Hashem, when you say the Hashem, ad sofo, you stand up from there till the end of Oz Yichra, and then you bow down. Volam Nagi Kamosh Kasav Rama, the minhag is to like the Rama, that which means, I guess, Hakol B'Shchia Achas. Vir Aloch means on the Shita Gra writes that which I think is the actual conduct today. You don't have to bow down only until Shato Shem Elokeinu, and then you say the rest standing straight. Again, I think that is the actual minhag, which is universal as far as I've ever been able to notice. Dalit. In countries which originate from Spain and all the Arab countries. Kohanim duchen every day in Shachris. That's why the Beis wrote, if there are no Kohanim present, he says in this Liberus Kohanim, which we have in the Ashkenaz Sidurim, Ad Vaniya Barchem, until Vaniya Barchem, which we actually don't get to. So much Vaniya Barchem. Tzibur answers Keni Ratzon after the Baruch Hashem Yishmerecha, etc. Ve'etzleinu b'chol yom kenu. That's what you do every day. Sharon Sim Kapayim Rak Yontif Kosh Kosav Sim Kuf Chavches. You only do on Yontif. Ve'ein anu nogin lomar rak ad Shalom. And we always say to the end of Shalom. But pasuk who Shamu Shmi, and we don't say that last pasuk. B'bracha, b'chenu b'bracha, be'ezu Shalom b'pasach b'bracha. Vaniyas Keni he who rak basof. The Keni Ratzon is only at the end of the last pasuk, but it's Leinu Aminog Lomar Achar Kol Bracha Ben Pasuk Pasuk. We say it after each segment. Osim Lomar B'Schus Avram B'Schus Yitzchak B'Schus Yaakov. I don't think most people do this anymore, to mention the merit of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. You should turn to the right. Yishmech l'tzad small. And your air, l'tzad yamin. Yichunecha l'tzad small is going back and forth. Yisa l'tzad yamin. V'yosim l'chol l'tzad small. So Shalom l'tzad yamin. Yechena mitzlo minag etzleinu. Okay, so a lot of these things we don't do anymore. So the Mishnah Berurah says that our minhag is that even there are Kohanim here. The Tzibur says Mishnah Berurah says, but the Eved, if you did not say didn't say you don't make it go back. And the question is, when is it called the Eved? If you remember before Arukh HaShulchan Shalom, do you go back? And not after bracha, or is it sometime earlier, and he doesn't come to a conclusion? The Mishnah Berurah writes, you say, Hashem, you should look straight ahead at the Aron. Yishmerecha to the right, Yor towards the Aron, Pana Beilecha B'Yichuneka to the left, to his left, which is towards the right of Kaviyachol the Shechina. Again, I haven't noticed people doing this. Back to Arukh HaShulchan. He says, Yesh Mishkasai Brechol Yamin, Yoyer Klape Eicho, which is like Mishnah Berurah just said. Hakanega Ponov, directly opposite. Kaviyachol, the countenance of Kodesh Baruch Hu is represented by the Yoram. Elah, or opposite may just means konegdo, opposite, directly in front of yourself. Pona be'elecha b'yichuneka l'smol. Avodim Saimim b'tzad yamin, we end towards the right, k'dei hagbir yamin al l'smol, in order to that the right should overcome the left. Ve'en rim zeh b'mincha be'eshen or l'siyas kapayim. We don't say okay, by mincha, it's not a time when people Kohanim ducha. Kasar ben Ramah the Nogul Amar b'Shachrasim Shalom. The custom is say by Shachrasim Shalom. By the way, I think by some places they say Amen by Birkas Kohanim. I'm mistaken. I think it's Chabad says Amen. I know where it comes from. And Sev Keni Ratzon. Be that as it may. So the Ramah says we know the B'Shachrasim Shalom L'Chem B'Chol Zman Shomer Elokeinu. Whenever you say Baracha, you say Sim Shalom. Come up with Tanis Mincha. Like by Tanis Mincha, you do that. But otherwise, Mincha Mar B'Shalom Rav. Mishnah Berurah says a Yochid who's fasting also says Shalom Rav. Because the fact that he's fasting doesn't make it there because Kohanim. Yesh Masil Marsim Shalom B'Mincha Shel Shabbos. Those who start saying, I'm not sure what start means, Sim Shalom B'Mincha of Shabbos, so Ksibei Ki B'Or Panech L'Sat L'On Hashem Elokeinu Toras Chaim, because Hashem gave us the Torah with the illumination of His countenance. V'Shiyah Torah Shkorin B'Mincha B'Shabbos Akal L'Shano, and that corresponds to Kriyas Torah by Mincha and Shabbos, which not apply to Yotiv, and actually that is the Yekesh Minhag, and I believe Minhag Eretz Yisrael as well. We see the Arizal Tamid Sim Shalom. It's always Sim Shalom. Chenogim Sfardim, and the Sfardim always say Sim Shalom. They don't say Shalom Rav. In the brackets, V'tam Ashkenazim, the reasoning of the Ashkenazim, the B'or Panecha Ein Omrim B'Mincha V'Mariv. We don't say B'or Panecha. Ki B'or Panecha Sat L'On Hashem Elokeinu Toras Chaim V'Avas Chesed. By Mincha Mariv Shushas Adin, because it's the time of judgment. Please, B'Shabbos Yom Tov Rosh Chodesh, but according to this, in Shabbos Yom Tov Rosh Chodesh, since the din doesn't take effect on those days, it would be appropriate to say by both mincha marv sim shalom. Erev Shabbos ve'erev yotah b'mincha. So the Erev Shabbos ve'erev yotah by mincha shehu zman ratzon. Duk. That's the time when it should be acceptable to say sim shalom. But he doesn't actually pass this to seem to pass that way definitively the ma'isa. Masha the base of Omrim Alokena Shay Lois Kiros Evet Sarchir. Sounds like the base of do so okay because it's not mentioned explicitly not to say it. And now we make a little hadron because I'm learning this out of the Mishnah Berurah, the Arukh HaShulchan with the Piskei Mishnah Berurah, and this is the end of the Sefer. And I think the reason why it's the end of the Sefer is because it's meant to correspond to the end of Chelik Rishon in the Mishnah Berurah. So we have just completed Siyata Dishmaya, the Arukh HaShulchan, which corresponds to Mishnah Berurah Chelik Rishon. And Keni Zakenu Hashem, L'sayim Chalakim Acherim. So we finish Chaim and beyond. But we are not finished for this evening. Now we were supposed to do Kuv Chav Ches, the new volume. Okay, so obviously we started talking about Duchning, and the Simon Kuv Chav Ches is called the name the Siyas Kapayim. And it is long. Wow, 72 cities. Okay, Mitzvah say Al Kohen Baruch Yisrael. It's a positive commandment for the Jews to bless, for the Kohen to bless the Jews. Shneimar it says Kos Baruch Hu B'nei Yisrael. Thus you should bless the Jewish people. Chiyuv Zeh T'midi. This chiyuv is constant. Kam is manazeh, and applies even our day and age. Ramam Reish Yichos Tefillah. One of the mitzvahs. Ayin Sham. It's one of the six Tariag. It's my mikdash yivarchim achar ktores haktores. The base mentioned this that they would do the Birkas Kohanim after the Ktoros was brought. That was in the morning and the afternoon after the Ktoros bring up the Evarim of the Tommy, the limbs of the Tommy on his back. That's what the Rambam writes. Namreish Perek Zayin the Tommy, based on Mishnah Tommy. He says it's a Tosfos that Maskal Brachos and Brachos Sarach Ion. He says it's a Tovus Atvus. Obviously, we don't know what that's talking about. B'davas emavor b'Torah b'shmini l'miluim. There's explicit in Torah on the 8th of the Miluim when Aaron and his sons were vested with Kuna. See what it says, Vaysaron as Yodav Elon by Barachem. Aaron lifted up his hands to the congregation and blessed them. Vayerim Esos Chatos came down from doing the Chatos. Klomar meaning Gomer. Klomar b'Zen Nigmar Avoida. This is the culmination of the Avoida. Amad Achar Gemar Kos Yos Karban. So after you complete doing your entire Karban Tomid, who's man Birkas Kohanim? That's the time Birkas Kohanim. B'chav b'furish b'Torahs Kohanim Sham. And that's what it says Torahs Kohanim v'chein kasav Rashi b'Soita. Base v'zel b'Mikdash. That was in Beis Hamikdash. Ubegvulim, but outside Beis Hamikdash, ubechem is manazeh, and so to an our day and age. B'shas Gemara Tefillah, when you complete the davening, shu b'makam Karban, which is in lieu of a Karban, utfila nigmara b'shamea tefillah. Interesting. The tefillah is considered to be completed for this purpose by Shamei tefillah sheshamu gemara bakoshes. That's the end of the request. That's how the Shmach would say Kosh Baruch Hu should desire his nation and their tefillos. That's how the Kohanim are required to start progressing towards the Duchan when the Chazan says Ritzei. Why does the Bracha itself take place just before Sim Shalom? The Birkas Kohanim say Sim Shalom because Birkas Kohanim ends with Shalom. So it's connected. Shalom, Shalom, Gzeira Shama. V'gam Shama Gemara Tefillah. And that also is the end of davening, Mamish. That's why they made this actual recital at that point. And besides, the Kohanim go up to Duchan and has to stand up there until after Amvarach Zamor Yisrael B'Shalom. So that the totality of the Amidah should be completed in its perfection. But then they go back down. Like Aaron went down time he finished the Avodah. Kimmel. Kosh Baruch Hu wants but desires Birkas Kohanim. Shema so much Shmi of Bnei Yisrael Bani Avarchem. They'll place my name on the Bnei Yisrael. I will bless them. Sheitor Kosav Hadavar Bahen. The pasuk is makes this contingent on them. Lios brachas usima shmo al amo, that they should put the God's name on his nation. For loaso tzorach Yisrael, it's not for the purpose of Am Yisrael. El tzorach hamakam, the Kohanim represent the Kosh Baruch Hu to fulfill his will. Perusha dani avarchem, when it means the Kosh Baruch Hu says, I will bless them. Nachlukat tarim b'chuin, nachlukas tanoim, Rabbi Shimon ber lamanu brach Yisrael, mipi haKohanim, l'Kohanim atzmam lo lamanu. We see the Kohanim bless the Jews, but who blesses the Kohanim? Shomer v'ani avarchem, when it says, I will bless them, and that teaches us, Kohanim avarchem Yisrael, Kosh Baruch Hu avarchem Kohanim. The Kohanim give the bracha to Am Yisrael, and the Kosh Baruch Hu gives the bracha to the Kohanim. Again, we learned the bracha Yisrael from the Kohanim, but we didn't learn that Hashem gives a bracha to the to Bnei Yisrael. Shavir v'Chaim, it says, "I bless them." Have a Omer Kohanim v'Orchim Yisrael. V'Kadosh Baruch Hu maskim el yodam. Kohanim bless the Jews, and Hashem agrees with them. According to Shmuel, Ani v'Chaim is saying, "I will bless the Kohanim." According to Rabbi Kiva, Ani v'Chaim is going on Bnei Yisrael, like Gam Baruch Yeh, like the confirmation of the bracha. We bring us the Kohanim. Bracha Kohanim. Where's Rabbi Kiva learning that Kodesh Baruch Hu blesses the Kohanim themselves? He learns it from Avraham Avinu. I bless those who bless you, Am Yisrael. So Shema Rabbi Yishum and Levi who said to Shem, Kol Kain Shem Baruch Mizbarach. So Rabbi Yishum and Levi said, any Kohen who blesses is blessed. Shein Baruch, and if he's not, doesn't bless, ain't no Mizbarach. He doesn't. He's not blessed, and that is learned out from Shemar V'Avorcha Mevarchecha. I bless those who bless you. Ein Shem Zeldim Rabbi Kiva. That's going to be Kiva. Kohen Shechisa Tev Achas Lokia Mitzvah Berchos Levatol. I have left you a little bit. Kohen missed a bracha and Birchas. What are Birchas Kohanim? He didn't fulfill the mitzvah, and the bracha he made was Levatol. Shechisa Kol Tev Arachu. This way, punk, you should make the bracha Likuva, and that's an impediment. Dalit. V'chol Kohen Shein Ola Duchan. If Kohen doesn't go out to the Duchan, Im Ein Bo Echam Me'advarim Ma'akvim. If he doesn't have some impediment of the one she's brother, which will become clear later on, over B'shlosh Asay transgresses 3 mitzvahs Asay. One is Kot Varchu, thus you should bless. The other is Emor Lam, tell them. And the third one is so much they should place my name. Lav Dafko Hu, K'mosh Kos of a Rambam. Of Lav Dafko, it's not exact, not literal. K'mosh Kos of Rambam, so the Tzvitil, Zel Shoino. Ram writes, Abi Shabita mitzvahs Asay Achas. Even though it only was about the one to say, Harez a kit over our Shlosh Asay. And Shem Zivya transgresses 3 mitzvahs Asay. He goes up Rabbi Meir says of see base, I ain't shown. Base right same thing. Dash Yish Mishkas of Shkama Yisrael Yish mitzvahs Asay She Yisbarech. And Shar Shuv Charedim says it's a bracha mitzvah on the Jews to be blessed. But Dafko. That's not precise. The Echem Matzim mitzvah says, where's the mitzvah say to be blessed? El Klomar meaning Chiv Yesh Love Lisbarech Mekohanim. It's an obligation, not a mitzvah per se, but it's an obligation to be blessed in the Kohanim. Because he made a choshesh that if you're not concerned about that, it's a chutzpah to Hashem. And it is that's as if he's kicking the brachas of Hashem away, and he's worthy of a punishment. Okay, so it's not precisely 3 assays, but it's not a good thing for the Kohen not to go up to the Duchan.